So guys, I'm cutting. So before I cut everything off, just take note of this length. Take note of this length from the hip, from the waistline, the second waistline. Take note of length from the second waistline. Take note of that length to the hemline. Take note of the length to the hemline of the dress. Is, for me, I have, let's say, 40 inches. So I have 40 inches, so I'll write that down. 40 inches here. Okay, so I'll keep on cutting. I'll cut up until that same waistline. I'll cut out that. Okay, I'll cut out that one. I'll stop and go over to this side. Automatically, I don't need this anymore. That's why I said I really do not need the hip measurement. What I need is the center front and the darts. Okay, so okay, it's capturing. So I'll cut out my darts, my dart legs. I would also cut out this dart leg. Sorry guys, in the subsequent class I will get a marker for better viewing. I'll cut out my dart legs. I'll cut this dart leg out too. Okay. I'll cut it off. I'll cut out this dart legs for this as well. So I'll stop this one here. Okay, then I'll cut out that other dart leg for the armhole. Cut it out, this one. Sorry, I made a bit of mistake here. So I'm going to, this one is out, this one is out. This one is out, but I will just hold here down with my sellotape. Just put here down with my sellotape. And I'll continue from here to the shoulder. Okay. So don't forget also if that's your bust. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So I'll cut out my darts to my bust point. So watch what I will do. I'll take this and place it back here. That has eliminated the bust dart in front. It gives it a cup, a very beautiful cup, one, and it also makes the front, the side fronts and the back side back to align together. What I did was slash the bust dart open, okay, and I'll place it, I'll slash it to the bust point and not through it. Okay, then I would fold down with my paper accel tape. If you notice, while I was cutting, I brought out a bit of inches out, so I will align this together. So I'm going to cut this by pulling the armhole. Cool. This is what I usually do. At this point where it's out, I'll just connect the armhole cord to this point. I'll just connect the armhole cord to this point, but I will still contour it with the center front panel. Okay. So what I'll do next is place both boss points on the same area. You can see they are touching each other, and I'll just check it automatically if it goes. Okay, yes, to balance up the armhole. So you can see the excesses I brought out, so I'll just make a point here and connect it together. I'll just make a point here and connect it together. I like to come out a bit more so that by the time I'm sewing, I can have room for excesses, so I can cut out. So you balance out the armhole. Cool. So remember I said take in the length from the waistline. Don't forget the length. We had 40. Okay, so cutting this particular piece, it should be on my fabric unfold here, unfold. Okay, then cutting this part will not be unfold, but not forgetting that the 40 inches I told you would be to complement the length back to the front side. Then here, which is the width, whatever it is you have here, you multiply it by 3. You multiply it by 3 to form a gathers here. So you're having length 40 times 3 here, length 40, and whatever it is you have here times 2 or times 3. If it's a thick fabric, you don't need to do times 3, you just do times 1.5 or 2. I'm working with the lace fabric, it's a bit on the heavy weight, so I'll just do times 1.5 and gather it back here by length 40. That is for the front. So we sorted out the front. So guys, this is remember the side pattern of the front. So this is the 40 inches length, 40 inches length times whatever it is we have here times 3. But I think I did 1.5 because the lace is too thick. That's 1.5. So what I will do is pleat here, gather here into this width on my fabric. I'm cutting the back piece, so we'll do the same for the length as well. Her length is longer than the lace pieces. If not, I would have just cut it straight down. So I will just cut the back piece, the half length first, then the lower part. So for her half length, for her back piece is 15.5. So we'll be needing 1 inch sewing allowance. 1 inch sewing allowance. So 15.5 plus 1, which is 16.5. Okay. I hope you can see the chocolates. 16.5. Hello guys, you guys are disturbing. 16.5. So I'll make a rule here. can see the chopping, so I hope it's quite clear. Please just indulge me. Okay, thank you. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. You'll be doing us a whole lot too if you do that. Okay, so for her shoulder, okay, for this is the back, you need a zipper allowance, not the shoulder yet. So I will mark the zip allowance to be at 1 inch. So what was on fold is the biggest part of her body. For her, the biggest part of her body is the waistline. So her waist is 47, while her bust is 45. So this is by, I folded it by 2, and I divided the waist by 4. Okay, so I'll mark out my 1 inch sewing allowance, my 1 inch zip allowance at this fold here. Okay, so I'll make a rule at this 1 inch zip allowance. Can you please reduce that fan? Thank you. Okay, so I'll put in my shoulder measurements and form a square with it after the zip allowance. A shoulder measurement is 8.5. That's 17 divided by 2. Plus my sewing allowance, half an inch. Which is 9. From the tip of my top line, I'll mark at that same 9, but I'll use 9.5 for this. For the depth, 9.5. Make a rule. I hope you can see it, please. I hope you can see it. Then her bust point, 12, which is at 12.5, plus sewing allowance, which is 12.5. Then the rest is my waistline. Okay, the rest will be my waistline. So I'll start taking in my measurements from the zipper allowance. My bust is 45.5, which is 11.3. I'll just approximate it to 11.5. Yes, 11.5. I'll just approximate it to 11.5. Plus my sewing allowance, which is 1.5 inch. Then my waist after the zip allowance is 47. 47 divided by 2, that's 11.75. For her, she's a big size, so I'll be using 0.75, 0.75 for a dart, for the dart leg for her. She's on the big side, so which is 1.5, 0.75 into 2, which is 1.5. Okay, plus my sewing allowance, which is another 1.5, which is another 1.5. Okay, at my bust point, whatever it is I have on my bust point, I will move it to my chest line. So I have, okay, let's just impute the measurement so that we can, our bust is 45, which is 13.5. Our bust is 45.5, which is 11.3, sorry, 11.3. So we'll just leave it at 11.5 plus my sewing allowance, which is 1.5. Okay, so I'll connect all lines from here to here. Okay, you will know that she's not a cub, she has a big tummy. So I'm trying to rule out my shoulder line. So I will impute the neck depth now. the neck depth. Let me just get the pattern I used for my front. And find out the neck depth. I used 4.2 for the wideness. I used 4.2 for the wideness. So after my zipper allowance, I measure at 4.2. Okay. Then the depth, I'll use 1.5. From that picture, is a bit high. I'll use 1.5. So I'll get my French cord, connect the neck width together. I'll connect my neck width together. I hope you can see it. Then my shoulders look, I'll come down at 1.2. The same thing I used for the front, I'll use for the back. So it will all run together. Okay. So I will get my armhole curve. From the slope, I will divide it into 2 to the chest line. I get the midpoint. No going in for this one because there's no bust at the back. This is where you just connect. From that point, you got the midpoint outside. Just connect it to your bust, to your chest line. Okay, at my 1 inch at my zipper allowance, the 1 inch, we're not going to leave it that way. We're not just going to sew the 1 inch all the way down. What you do to tape, to contour the back zipper line, so that when the person wears it, it doesn't start bulging at the back. There are some clothes you see and it's bulging. So at that zipper line, at the 1 inch, I'll take in 0.5. For young ladies, you can take in 0.75, but she's an aged woman. So at this 0.5, I'll merge it to the tip, wherever the thing stops. Just watch, I'll just merge it to almost the end of, you see. If you can also get a longer ruler, just merge it to wherever it stops. From that half an inch you pointed out, okay? I'll just merge it there. Okay. With this, when you're sewing your 1 inch zipper allowance, it doesn't go all straight again. It goes like a curve. With that, you have taken out whatever excesses that will bulge at the back there. So after this 1 inch allowance, you will also mark in your dart measurement. I think I used 4.2 for this. 4.2. This is where my dart will be. Then remember I brought out 0.75, which is at 1.5 for the dart leg. Okay, so on each side I'm taking in 0.75 because she's on the large side. 0.75, and this dart is going to stop on my chest line. Okay, so from this my 1 inch, I will take it 4.2 just to make sure the lines are accurate. 4.2 just to make sure the lines are accurate all the way. 4.2. So I will merge all straight lines together. All straight lines together. So I'll connect the dart legs together. Okay, so I've connected all lines together. So I think we don't have any other thing left for the half length of the front. So I'll go ahead and cut. So I'm cutting out that half an inch I ruled out for my back contouring. Let's just cut the pattern on the pieces out first. I don't like shredding my pieces. I don't like shredding my fabric and they're looking all tacky. Okay, so just for easy cutting now. So I'm going to notch my waistline. Make a notch at my waistline, though it's not that visible. Even if I use a chalk to won't be that visible, so I'll just make a line with my pen, just little lines that you don't want everything to start showing on the customer's body. Oh, sorry. I'm cutting my armhole depth now. And now the shoulder slope. Now the neckline. So I'll just cut a bit out of the shoulder a bit so it rests well on her neck and it won't be giving out. Okay, so this dark line, the 3 dark lines, I'm going to make a notch there so that when I'm sewing I will know those are my notches. And dark line, these are my notches from the dark line. Okay, so